Hi, my name's Poppy. Yeah, true. I am a senior psychologist from Wellness Arts. I'm presenting today on food and mood. So, if you want to find these slides, you can go to my website wellnessarts.com.au/resources and you'll have access to these slides. So, no need to take notes, just enjoy and listen. And I am presenting information that I have researched, as well as my friends from the Wellness Quarter. If you're interested in knowing more about what they do, you can find out where to find that information at the end of this webinar. So I've looked at the research, which is from the Food and Mood Centre from Deakin University. They published a blog about an article published in 2021 from Marks et al. And they looked at all the international research into nutritional psychiatry. That's a great website, Food and Mood. If you're interested, they've got a free course that you can do. They've got lots of resources and their own research that they're doing. So I really recommend going there and doing the course on nutritional psychiatry if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about what they're doing there. Today we're going to look at this research because we are going to look at the various mechanisms that affect mental health depending on, what you eat. So it's really important to think before you eat, because everything that you eat is going to affect, the different parts of your system. So looking at the different parts, the mechanisms that are influenced by what we eat, there's many processes that happen. They don't happen in isolation because everything happens in a system, as we know. So they all affect one another. But these different mechanisms that we're going to look at are inflammation, brain plasticity, the gut microbiome, protein metabolism, oxidative stress, stress hormones, cellular changes, and early life nutrition. So let's look at them one bite at a time. Inflammation. Inflammation is the body's immune response. So we can have inflammation from a lack of exercise, from stress, acute or chronic stress, poor sleep, smoking, other toxins, and an unhealthy diet. So we know that inflammation is the base process behind all of disease. So if we can access that and provide ourselves with an anti-inflammatory diet, such as the Mediterranean diet, then there's evidence to say that that will help reduce depression and improve mental health. So in the short term, inflammation is not a bad thing. It's your body's response to injury or infection, and it's a protective mechanism. But in the long run, in the long term, if you have chronic inflammation, then that may result in lots of problems in terms of health, including your mental health. And in terms of the research, they have looked at people with severe mental illness, and they have found that they have higher amounts of pro-inflammatory foods, such as ultra-processed foods, refined grains, saturated fats, especially omega-6, a lot of trans fats, and a lot of sugar. And they also tend to have lower intakes of anti-inflammatory nutrients, such as vitamins and minerals, prebiotic and probiotic, and omega-3 fatty acids. The next pathway is oxidative stress. So, there's these free radicals that are flying around in your body, floating around, I should say, and we combat them with antioxidants, which help to mop up those free radicals. So we know that too many free radicals can lead to heart disease and cancer and diabetes and depression and other mental disorders. So if we want to think about how to best counteract the free radicals, we can think about having lots of antioxidants in our diet, and we'll look at what they are in a minute. The next one is brain plasticity. So your brain is always growing and changing, and there's a part deep within your brain called the hippocampus, and that takes care of learning. It's part of the process of learning and memory and mood and mental health, and it can change size. So it can grow in the presence of this particular factor called BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and we can have an influence on the BDNF that is bathing our brains. So people with lower levels of BDNF tend to be more depressed and have unhealthier diets, and hippocampus tends to be smaller in those people. But people that are eating things like omega-3s and polyphenols, which are plant chemicals, and don't have as much unhealthy fats or sugar, tend to have more BDNF, and that is going to increase brain plasticity. Your brain's always growing. As long as you're living, you can keep developing new neurons, especially in the hippocampus. So feed your brain and it'll do the right thing for you. It'll help your learning, memory, and everything. The next pathway is stress hormones. So the HPA axis is the brain communicating with the body to tell you that there's stress and that you need to do something. You need to run or fight or flee. And inflammation can also impact this. So here we are with systems working together. And diet can also influence the HPA axis. So things like vitamin C, omega-3 fatty acids, and polyphenols help to reduce your stress levels by reducing cortisol. And we know that diets with a high GI, which is high glycemic index, very sugary refined foods, may increase cortisol and create more stress in your body. The next one is your gut microbiome. So the gut communicates with the brain through the gut bacteria, and that's called the microbiota gut-brain axis. And this is really important for your mental health because a lot of the brain chemicals and the mood chemicals are created in the gut, such as serotonin. So we need, and that's influenced as well by the BDNF in the previous slide. So in terms of what we can do for a good healthy microbiome is to understand prebiotics and probiotics, and to make sure that we're giving ourselves good gut bacteria through the food that we eat, and fermented fibers and fibrous food, so that the probiotics can feed on the prebiotics. They work together. The next thing is your cells. So we are made up of cells, and the center of the cell contains many different elements, and one of them is the mitochondria. That is the energy center of your cell. And people with depression tend to have fatigue and cognitive complaints, which like brain fog, possibly because of the issues with mitochondria, and these can be affected by your diet. So if we eat a lot of omega-6 saturated fats or trans fats or refined carbs or salt, then that can affect your mitochondrial production and your energy production. The next thing is protein metabolism. So tryptophan is one of the amino acids that we need to get from your diet. There's certain amino acids that our body develops, and then there's many that we need to also get from food. And tryptophan is part of the serotonin process. So, and the microbes in our gut can affect serotonin, and that influences the breakdown of tryptophan. So, a diet which has a lot of polyphenols and good bacteria, such as the ones found in probiotics and fermented foods, help to protect this set of metabolites. The last thing is early life nutrition. So we know that we have genes and that they get switched on and off and we are affected by our environment. And nutrition can be part of the system of switching on and off certain genes, and that is epigenetics. So we need to think about nourishing ourselves in the best way so that our genes thrive and that we're switching on the right genes and switching off the ones we don't want. So which diet is best for mental health? There's no one specific diet, but traditional diets tend to be the best. So it doesn't matter which type of traditional diet, but if you think about what your grandmother's grandmother ate, then you're probably on the right path. And they have a few things in common. So traditional diets tend to be full of whole foods closest to nature. And whether you're eating plant foods or meat, it doesn't matter as long as it's closest to nature. Grass-fed meats and whole foods, foods that are not processed. A lot of plant foods. It's good to have 30 different types of plant foods each week. That's really good for your gut microbiome. And healthy starches like potato, rice, and sweet potato and tapioca. Vegetables and fruits all give you lots of polyphenols. And the things to avoid are ultra-processed foods, refined carbs, which are grains such as wheat, oats and corn, and your fat balance is really important. So omega-6 is found in seed oils and vegetable oils, which isn't, we can't tolerate a lot of that. And these are the main oils that people cook in if you buy takeaway. Trans fats are found in seed oils, and they're in a lot of refined foods and cakes and biscuits and things like that, and margarine. So we need to think about good fats. And then, of course, sugar, which is found in many, many foods, hidden in foods and sweet drinks. And so what are the healthy choices? Good fats are really important. So omega-3 fatty acids that you can find in oily fish, shellfish, seaweed, chia walnuts, butter, full-fat dairy. And a lot of people go, oh, but, why should I eat full-fat dairy and the fat from meat? Because that's what our cells are made of and that's what our body understands. So all of these hydrolyzed and refined oils from vegetables, our body doesn't understand it. The more you have to process a fat to get it, to be able to cook with it or eat it, the worse it is for your body. So in its natural form, the easiest way to get it is, animal fat, coconut oil, avocados, oily fish, things like that, and butter. Polyphenols, so that came up a lot in the previous slide. So you can find polyphenols in berries and herbs, spices, cacao. That's a really good prebiotic as well. And nuts and flax seeds, vegetables, olives, coffee and tea. And then anti-inflammatory foods. So these are found in vegetables, fruit, fish, poultry, nuts, yogurt, herbs, spices. So you'll have access to these slides. I'll download them onto my website, wellnessarts.com.au/resources, and you can access these slides anytime just to see which foods are, that are in that category. And when we eat healthy fats with our carbs, such as rice, potato, sweet potato, that can help to reduce the GI. So don't be afraid of having some starch in your diet. It's a healthy balance. Antioxidants. Here's a great list of antioxidants that I have put together for you. So download the slides and put them onto your shopping list. And the symbiotics, so that is prebiotics and probiotics working together. So chicory root is a good one, which you can find in chicory coffee as a substitute for coffee, but make sure that it doesn't have any other ingredients. So you probably have to get it from the health food shop rather than the supermarket aisle. And avocado is a bit of a superfood. There's a lot of superfoods out there. Do your research, find out what's good for you, and make sure you consider what you eat. So look at the Perfect Health Diet, which is, there's a refrigerator sheet here that I have created, and I have that also on the resources section of my website, which gives a really well researched and good snapshot of what is healthy, what your healthy low omega-6 fats are, what to avoid, how much of each thing you should have. So if you look at the Perfect Health Diet book, it's quite scientific, but they have a website as well where there's information and blogs that are a little bit easier to digest. But you have to think about your body and what works best for your body. So learn to tune into your gut reactions and your energy levels, your sleep, your mood, and look at your health for clues about what foods are best for your body. thewellnessquarter.com.au, you can find out more about programs that incorporate the Perfect Health Diet, and you can look at the references here. So that's the article that I looked at, and also the Perfect Health Diet book you can find, as well as the website. And my website, wellnessarts.com.au, you can find out what I'm up to. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and email me if you have any more questions, and visit the website for lots of free resources. Thank you so much. Stay healthy.